Welcome to Chapter 1 of our series, Raise Confident Kids, Modern Parenting Essentials. In this episode, titled The Confident Kid Formula, What Research Actually Shows, we'll explore the key factors that contribute to building a child's self-confidence. So, whether you're a seasoned parent or just starting out, let's dive in and discover how you can nurture confident kids. About half of kids grow up with a solid emotional home base, and the rest don't. Yet, in the same classroom, two children with the same talent can end up wildly different in confidence. One volunteers, one shrinks back. So what's actually driving that quiet split? A surprising thread runs through decades of research. Confident kids aren't just born that way, and they don't get that way from praise alone. In fact, one large study found that inflated praise like, "You're amazing at this," actually made anxious kids more nervous about failing next time. So if compliments aren't the magic ingredient, what is? Developmental science keeps circling back to a three-part pattern. Kids do best when they have a relationship that stays steady when life isn't, chances to actually get good at things, and room to try, mess up, and try again without adults grabbing the steering wheel. You've probably seen this clash in real life. The child who's showered with, "You're so smart," but crumples at a hard math problem, versus the one who quietly keeps at it like a kid solving a puzzle one piece at a time. The difference isn't personality luck, it's the formula shaping them. Researchers have tried to pull these pieces apart in labs, classrooms, and living rooms. When they dial up warmth but shut down independence, kids may feel loved yet hesitate to step onto the stage. When they push skills and achievement without emotional backup, children can look impressive on paper while quietly bracing for the next hit of approval. And when adults celebrate every tiny effort but never let kids actually struggle, it's like serving dessert without ever offering a real meal. Sweet at first, then oddly unsatisfying once the sugar rush fades. About 62% of U.S. infants fall into the secure category in attachment research. But what's striking is what happens later when that early bond is paired with a certain kind of environment. Kids whose caregivers were both emotionally responsive and respectful of their growing decision-making showed stronger social skills, better coping with setbacks, and higher school engagement all the way into adolescence. Think of how this plays out in daily life. A securely attached child hits a frustrating puzzle. One adult rushes in, "Here, let me do it." Another hovers with non-stop commentary, "You're amazing, you're so talented." A third kneels down, notices the tension, and says, "This is hard. Want a hint, or do you want to try one more way first?" Only the third response combines safety, an honest view of effort, and a real chance to act. That blend matters. In a large meta-analysis, parental sensitivity showed a modest but reliable link to later self-esteem. On its own, that number isn't huge. But when researchers layer in environments that invite kids to choose strategies, tackle real challenges, and feel their actions actually matter, the gains multiply. Higher resilience scores, more persistence on hard tasks, and fewer internalizing symptoms like quiet self-criticism. Schools see a similar pattern. When teachers shift from, "Do it this way because I said so," to, "Here's the goal, let's compare a few ways to get there," intrinsic motivation jumps. One study on autonomy-supportive teaching found about a 20% bump. That doesn't just mean kids feel happier. Over time, they participate more, take on harder work, and recover more quickly when they miss the mark. There's also encouraging news for families who didn't start out with ideal conditions. Programs like Circle of Security don't promise perfection. They train adults to notice a child's signals more accurately and to respond in a way that communicates, "You're worth understanding." In one trial, the percentage of securely attached kids rose by 25 points after only 10 weeks, suggesting the first leg of that tripod can be strengthened even after a rocky beginning. Put together, these findings point to a hopeful truth. The building blocks of a sturdy inner posture aren't mysterious. They're everyday patterns of relating, reflecting, and stepping back at just the right moments. A practical way to see this formula in action is to zoom in on ordinary moments. Think of a 7-year-old learning to ride a bike. One parent jogs behind, gripping the seat so tightly the bike can barely wobble. Another watches from the porch, calling out, "You've got this, superstar." A third walks alongside, one hand light on the seat, saying, "Tell me when you want me to let go. I'll be right here if you tip." That last stance quietly blends support, realistic feedback, and space to steer. Or picture homework time. Instead of, "You're brilliant, this should be easy," try, "Show me where it started to feel tricky." Now the child is invited to think, not perform. Over time, kids raised this way start to ask themselves similar questions when adults aren't present. Your challenge this week? Pick one recurring struggle: bedtime, chores, or homework. For 7 days, change one thing. Move one step closer emotionally and one step back behaviorally. Stay available, but let them choose a small strategy or next step and notice what shifts. Neuroscientists are now testing VR tools that coach adults in real time, highlighting tiny cues like a child's micro frown or shoulder slump, then suggesting gentler responses. Think of it like having a relationship mirror that reflects back patterns you normally miss. Policymakers, meanwhile, are weaving similar ideas into social-emotional standards, and AI tutors are being redesigned to nudge kids toward curiosity while keeping the human bond at the center, not the screen. There's no perfect recipe, but research keeps hinting at the same direction. Small, repeated shifts matter more than grand overhauls. Think of tiny daily choices: pausing before rescuing, asking one more curious question, sharing one honest compliment, as quiet micro-investments. Over years, they compound like interest, reshaping how a child approaches the next hard thing. Here's your challenge this week. Once a day for the next 7 days, give your child a just right challenge that's slightly above their comfort zone, like ordering their own food, asking a teacher a question, or trying a new skill for 10 focused minutes. Before they start, say out loud one specific effort-based strength you've noticed in them. "You kept trying even when math was hard yesterday." After the challenge, ask 2 questions only. What did you do that helped you handle that? And what would you try differently next time? And resist the urge to jump in with fixes or praise about how smart they are. This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow.